Hey guys, my name is Haley, and I feel like the lighting's a little bit weird right now, but I don't really know what to do about it. I'm filming way later in the day than I normally would. But I have another Unhaul to film, so we're doing fantasy this time, and I think this might be my last for now. I think I am unhauling other things, but they're definitely not by genre anymore. But let's just jump right on into it so I can get all of these books out of my house. So first up is a middle grade series trilogy, and that is the Inkheart Trilogy by Cornelia Funk. This is a series that I really liked as a kid, and I still really like the first book, but I never was able to get into the second one. Like, I've gotten halfway through the second book multiple times since I was a child. Sorry, these are kind of heavy and hard to hold up, but I'm gonna pass these along to probably an actual middle grade reader in the hopes that they'll enjoy it more than I do. And if I ever finish this series, it's going to be on audio. That seems to be a theme in a lot of my unhauls lately. But yeah, I've had these on my shelves since I was literally like 11 or 12, and I've never read these last two books, even though I waited for the last one to come out, and it never happened. And I've tried to read them recently, and I can't. So sadly, I'm going to say goodbye to these. Next up, we have Vicious by V.E. Schwab. You'll see more of her books in this genre, I believe, because I think she's mostly classified as fantasy. But I did read this. I did finish this. I think it was the second Victoria Schwab book I ever read, other than The Savage Song. And I originally gave it like a decent rating, but the further away from this I got, the more I realized how much I really hate the characters. Like both Victor and Eli really annoyed me in the book, and I even talked about that in my review about how I thought they were really aggravating to read from. I still gave it a higher rating. That just goes to show how not critical I was of my books when I first started on BookTube. Sorry, I keep trying to fix this lighting. I don't know what to do. Do I face this way? Do I like... Is this better? But yeah, I have no intentions of reading Vengeful. I didn't particularly enjoy this one, and I'm pretty much done with Victoria Schwab at this point. This lighting is going to annoy me this whole video. Next up is a more recent one, and that is Bora by an author I don't remember. This is a graphic novel. It does say 18 plus. I don't know what I expected. Maybe I was hoping it would be very little, but this is basically a situation where I didn't love the story, and the fact that there was so much mature content in it was not pleasant to be reading in graphic novel form especially. So yeah, I think I gave this like a 1.5 stars, maybe 2 stars. Was not a fan. Kind of regret buying it because it was very impulse buy, but yeah. Next up we have Snow Lake Ashes by Sarah Rash. I tried to read like a chapter of this, I want to say a couple months ago, and I didn't like hate it or anything, but also this premise doesn't interest me anymore. I bought it when it first came out from like Books A Million because it was on sale or something, and BookTube was talking about it, and I impulse bought a lot more then, and this is one that's made it through several unhauls that I've done. And I don't know why I've kept it, because I don't really have an interest in it anymore, so we're just finally gonna unhaul this because it's not something that interests me. Next is more Victoria Schwab, and that is A Darker Shade of Magic and A Gathering of Shadows. I've already said several times in these unhaul videos, I'm not a fan of her writing. I really like her premises. Her writing is not my favorite. Her characters are not my favorite, and that was definitely the case with this. The shadows, this is the worst. This is just a case of I really didn't like the characters, and I DNF'd A Darker Shade of Magic, so definitely not going to continue with this series. Next up is A Winter's Curse and A Winter's Crime, or The Winter's Crime. I don't actually know. I did read this first book. I gave it like barely a 3 stars. I did not like it very much. I hated how prevalent the romance was, which again, should have known because that's what everybody talks about, but I bought them anyway. I don't even remember where I got them from. Probably thrift books. Well, I had intentions after reading this first one to read the second one. I tried to read the second one and realized how much I did not like the characters, or even really the world. Although I kind of like the politics, but not enough to continue with the series, so unhaul to both of these. I'm just like decimating all of the books that I've kept over the last year or two, basically since I started BookTube, that I've bought. and the ones that I just don't want anymore are just leaving my house before the end of the year. Next up is, I believe it's a duology. I did read the first one, being The Star-Touched Queen. I didn't really love it, and I found an arc of A Crown of Wishes at the thrift store like not too long after reading Star-Touched Queen, even though knowing I didn't love it. Still bought the arc of the second book. This is why I don't impulse buy books anymore, because they end up in these videos. But yeah, I didn't love the writing. I thought Star-Touched Queen was really confusing. Then I started, what's it called, A Crown of Wishes not too long afterwards and tried to read it, and I didn't want to be confused again. I wasn't that interested in the world. The writing's not my favorite. It's very flowery, and I normally like flowery writing, but apparently not in this case. Second to last is The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This is one that I'm still really upset about because I've paid full price for this on Amazon. I don't pay full price for anything, but I had heard such good things about this book, and this sounded so much like something I should love, and I just did not like it. I think I gave it like barely a 3-star. I think I might have even dropped it since then. And again, had intentions to read the next book, but when I really didn't like this one that much, I can't I can't do that to myself. I'm not gonna wait a year for the second book to come out. I don't know who I was getting. Like, I didn't like the writing, I didn't like the world, I didn't like the djinn, I didn't like really anything. I didn't like our main character. I just don't see the appeal for this series that a lot of BookTube has for it, and it needs to get off my shelves. And last, and probably pretty controversial, I don't really know, I haven't heard that many people read this series, but I know a lot have and really like it, and I did read the first book, and that is the Black Prism series by Brent Weeks. First of all, they're huge. Look at these. This is ridiculous. And second of all, listen to Black Prism on audiobook for, I think, Tome Topple, like the last Tome Topple that happened earlier this year. And I listened to it on two times speed, and quite honestly, I don't remember half of it. There were battle scenes where I would zone out. There was a ton of characters I didn't like. I really don't like Kip, and he's kind of the main character, so that's a problem. I don't love any of the other main characters. There was like one storyline that I found interesting. I found the magic system interesting, but other than that, this story is just not my favorite. Had intentions of reading them, but I'm probably not gonna because they're huge and I didn't like the first one. Okay, listen, I'm not even gonna try and pick all of them up. Here are some of the fantasy Unhaul books that I have. Thank you all for watching, and I will see all of you guys next time.